and welcome to this week's episode of the Ask the Expert Show. I'm really excited to have you here with me today. And as you can tell, Teresa's not here with me, that I'm kind of going solo today, no co-host. So it was just me and my absolutely wonderful guest. So I'm really excited to introduce her to you. But before I do, I want to thank our sponsor, the Professional Women's Network of Monterey. And you can find out more about them at www.pwnmonterey.org. Now, let me tell you, though, about my guest. And I have to tell you, we almost got on the show late because we were enjoying talking to each other so much. So let me tell you about her so you guys can jump into the conversation, too. So Julie Ulstrop is an award-winning photographer, TEDx speaker, and community leader who helps her clients feel confident, powerful, and beautiful in front of the camera so they can attract their ideal clients with ease. She started her portrait and photography business because she wanted to create something very special as a gift for all women to enjoy. As a headshot, personal branding, and portrait photographer, Julie helps entrepreneurs, business owners, authors, and coaches, and all-around awesome women create images with the intention to get themselves online visually. Her unique gift, helping people feel confident and to uncover and tell their story. Her promise, I love that, her promise is to make you look great, and she will create images of you that you will love. But more importantly, during all the steps of the experience, she will make you feel secure and supported. And in her own words, I've got you. You're my specialty. I love that. It almost chokes me up. It's so good. Probably one of the best bios I've ever had anybody turn into me ever. I love it. Speaks right from your heart. So thank you so much for being here, Julie.
You are so welcome. It's a delight to be here, Patty. I'm all about speaking from the heart and seeing from the heart. So I'm delighted to share with you and your audience today.
I love that too. You know, we talk a lot in there. Do you specialize mostly in women?
Absolutely. And it's funny because I've had men. I'm married. I have a great husband. I have a great relationship with my dad, my son. I have 6 grandsons. And, wow, it's awesome. And I have a great daughter and, great women friends as well. And a gentleman asked me recently, he's like, "Are you a feminist?" And he's like, "Does that mean you hate men?" I'm like, "No, I love men, but I love supporting women. I love helping women show up to be beautiful, brilliant, and bold, because a lot of times our culture has encouraged us to hide."
I think that's so true. Now, here's something that you probably don't know about me. I have 6 daughters. I come from a family of 5 girls, and my marketing company, we specialize in working with women. So I market to women. Some of the right men show up. So I do occasionally have male clients, but I just love women. I know them, right? So I know women coming from all that myself. And I think there's a special dynamic and conversation that women have. And I would say when it comes to photography, especially so, right? We are so hard on ourselves. It doesn't matter if we're too thin, we think we're too chubby, we're too old, we're too young, we're too this, we're too that. We just don't feel good. And that's why I loved this promise of yours, because I just really feel like this is the thing. And I'm even going to be vulnerable here and even say myself that when I recently was looking for a local photographer for myself for a picture that I needed to take, I remember thinking to myself, you know what? There are a million photographers who can do wedding photos, graduation photos, and baby photos, right? And specialize in that. And I was like, man, where are the photographers who can make women look good, and women who aren't like specifically a size 5 and, 25 and a size 5, right? Where are the photographers that can do that and make me feel good? And even if they can make the pictures look good, not make me feel terrible while I'm having the experience. So I have to tell you, I wish I had found you then, but I'm definitely going to be a client of yours now, because I think that is important. It is sort of like, I think going and having photos taken is like going bathing suit shopping, right?
It's super vulnerable. You're right.
It is.
Absolutely right. And so I have 20 years experience as a counselor, and so I know how to create space, and I really love creating space for women. And one of the things that I know in all of my studies and then all of my experiences is that everybody wants to be seen. And everybody wants to be heard. Like, those are 2 of our biggest needs as human beings. However, the camera comes up, or we get in front of a camera and we freeze. Exactly. We freeze, we get all of this stinking thinking, that itty bitty, not so pretty committee in our head. Otherwise, no, so I just really, photographing women is my jam. And I photograph some men. There are men who find me, but photographing women is just,
It
I
must be
love
so
it.
rewarding though. Like when you have a woman come in and, she's probably had all these bad experiences and then she has this really great experience having them. And then she sees the photos and, I mean, I'll bet you there's even some tears involved sometimes, right? You know,
100%. And I
I
have a
think
TED
that
talk.
is powerful, like super powerful.
Mhm.
Like I love that so much. So with that said, like we're already talking about your differentiator, but what would you say is the one thing that differentiates you from anybody else in your industry?
Well, it's really creating a space for women to feel and to be who they are. They feel seen. And when they feel seen, that, and it sounds a little bit corny, but people tell me often, they're like, you captured the essence of me, because it's that heart and, that beauty and boldness and brilliance of who we are. And it's different for each of us. And so it's creating space for women to show up and to look and feel bold, bright, and beautiful. And we get images that show all of those different things. And it's that attraction marketing, it's not like then you have to go
Totally.
out there and go, throw it on you, throw it on you, throw it on you. It's attractive, right?
I love that. And I think that too, because you're also a speaker, right? You're also a speaker. I'm a speaker as well, right? And so I travel all over the world. And with that said, I know that as a speaker, we really care about what is out there, right? We care what is out there. And I know that, a lot of times, I speak for all speakers of the world right now, where it's like you could have the most professional photographers at that event taking photographs, and then somebody with their cell phone, when you're in the middle, whatever, will take a picture and then they don't think there's anything wrong with putting that on Facebook, right? And you're like, oh, cringe, right? But I have to say that I think that would make you get us, right? Because, when you've been in the front of the room, right, on the stage, we know what it takes to really be able to put ourselves out there. And now, you're trying to give value to the audience and it's all about them and it's not about us. So I think that really probably brings something to the table as well about being seen and being heard, right? So I think that is really important. So I really like that. Now, you touched on it a few minutes ago, but I really kind of want to go a little bit deeper.
I love going deep. So let's go deep.
I love going deep. Well, it isn't quite that deep, but maybe in another question. But one of the things I think is important is, but I think you'll get there because you are a speaker. We'll go back to that again. But I find that what happens is we hear other people describe us and we're thinking, what? Like we don't see ourselves as that, right? We have to step into that, right? We have to step into that and realize, oh, wow, like I've heard it said so many times, like it must be so, right? And so I want to give you that opportunity to do that. So what are like 3 to 5 words that best describe the value you bring to the marketplace? And you can give me words that you think, and you can also give me words that other people say to you about you as well. But what are like 3 to 5 words that keep coming up whenever we're talking about you and your work?
So people will tell me that they are transformed by the experience.
Ooh, that's a good one.
One woman the other day, she came in for one photograph. Now she is not a businesswoman. She's actually recently retired and she wanted some for dating. And she had put herself on the back burner for so long, single mom, raised her kids, had a brilliant career. And she said, oh, I feel so good. It's about time.
Oh,
I mean,
that is good.
really, yeah. So I would say an elevator of women.
Ooh, I like that.
Transformer of women. And what would be another word? I help them create a vision for themselves.
Love that one.
You know how you said that when we hear it, we have to hear it so many times and then we believe it's true. Nearly 90% of all of the data, the information that comes into our brain at any moment, nearly 90% of it is visual. And so when you have a photograph, Patty, that you love, I'm doing this like this is a photograph in front of you. When you see a photograph that you love of yourself, that shows your beauty, that shows your brilliance, that shows who you are, you believe it. And then you look at it again and you believe it again. And you look at it again. And we all have hard days. And you're like, oh, yes, that is me.
Yep.
That's me.
I have one photo of me that I really like. There's photos out there, but there's one photo that recently I had that I really like, this one photo. And my team laughs at me now because they're like, Patty, like it was like pulling teeth to get you to put your photo on anything. And now all of a sudden, like I go in there and your photos on all these things, like you like your photo now because you like your photo. You don't mind having it on everything.
And people see you more.
Yeah.
And when they see you, they connect with you. I have a client who, this is a little off, but on the same thing,
Totally.
Who had his photo it was a man, and he had his photo at the bottom of his email signature, which is a great idea. And it was a not good and not recent photo. And he worked with a lot of people overseas. He had employees that worked for him overseas. And when he got his new headshot that I created, he put it on his email. And one of his employees from China said, oh, you look so sincere in your picture. That new, and like this person noticed that he had a new picture, first of all. And so, we say a picture is worth 1,000 words. So this is an employee of his. So every single time he had to send a message to someone, it could be good news, bad news, whatever. It said, this is sincere. It's subconscious, but that message comes through really loud and clear. So,
well, and I think it does it in a lot of things too. When you say, like, I almost hate to admit it, but I know the people out there that are listening, you do it too. So, when you get that like connection request on social from someone, right? Or whatever, and you get it, and as soon as you click on it and you look at it, the first thing you see is their photo, right?
Right.
So right then and there, you're already making kind of a snap kind of decision right there. That isn't the only thing I do, right? But then you read about them and other things too. But if I don't think that what I read matches the photo, like it doesn't match to me, I may be more inclined to say no, right? And I really like it when a lot of times, and it's really kind of funny because I'm a woman, but when I see women photos, I love it when I see them and they look approachable and they look really dynamic and energy and happy and joyful. Like that makes me want to get to know them more. And then when I read what they do, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, yes, I want to connect. That's just, so I do feel like having good photos is really key. So I have to tell you, for somebody who specializes in women, I love that you specialize in women and you're gonna be my new best friend. Yes. So I love that. So as an expert, what is the best for you? Sounds like that one might have been, but I'm going to give you the opportunity to tell us another one. What is the best compliment you've ever received from a client?
So for many years, I continue to support nonprofits and that kind of thing. And there's a woman who I photographed who was going through cancer treatment, and she was bald, and she felt horrible about the way she looked. And she describes when she saw her photographs, I'm going to get choked up. She said, I wasn't feeling well. I had chemotherapy side effects. And she said, like, look at me, I'm bald. But she walked in and she saw her photographs and she's like, I felt strong and I felt beautiful.
That makes me cry.
I know. And she's like, I knew that I could make it. And she did make it through that. And she said, because these photographs, she said, these photographs, I look alive, and she didn't always feel that way during her chemotherapy treatment. So Yeah, that's, and I have a lot of other, testimonials like that, but that was obviously really powerful. And I have
Oh, the things that
testimonials
can
like,
bring us to tears and
yeah,
stuff, usually are. So I really think that that really says a lot because it is important. The whole thing of having photos, it's not just what it makes you feel, but what we're going to do with them, right? If you're a business person, like that's going to be all over the place on all your stuff. And you want it to really represent who you truly are in your essence, as you say, and not just like be a good photo. Oh, it doesn't really represent me, but it looks good, right?
right.
It isn't that. You want it to be who you authentically and for it really to be your vibe. And I think that's really important. So, what would you say? So here's kind of one of the things that I love to do. So this is one of my favorite questions is I feel like it doesn't matter what industry you're in. There's always some myths around it, right? There's always some myth where people will say, oh no, this or oh no, that. And they usually don't know what they're talking about, right? They've heard it. It's the thing that's gone around. And we're like, I know in marketing people, there's so many things that people think. And I'm like, well, actually, that's not true. Right. But they just don't know because they hear it. They hear it. And I am sure in your industry, there's probably a lot of things that people think are so that are not so. And I'm going to
Mhm.
give you the opportunity right now to bust those myths. So, what
Okay.
are some of those myths that people think that it really isn't so?
Okay. Well, this is perfect. And this is really good timing.
Oh, good.
So you mentioned authenticity, and I feel like that is a word that is used a lot. And it's also very powerful and very true. Having images that are authentic and aligned is so important because you know what? If your photographs don't align with who you are, you lose instant credibility with people. So here's the myth. And this is, like I said, this is good timing. So there are a lot of people out there who are very excited about AI, which of course we all should be. It's interesting.
Mhm,
And so there is a service that you can send a couple of your pictures to. Maybe you've seen it online,
mhm.
and they will send back like 100 pictures of somebody that have been AI generated, right?
Mhm.
So if a person thinks that that's going to be a great headshot or great for your marketing or whatever, they are wrong because they might look like beautiful images that kind of look like you, but so my grandson, down in their basement, they have one of those big cardboard stand-ups of John Elway,
Mhm,
right? The football
mhm.
player,
I know.
Colorado thing, right? It's like it's just like having a big cardboard stand-up of you going to a networking event. That's not you. Nobody wants a big cardboard stand-up of you. They want you. They don't want
Like
an
showing up as a mannequin.
yeah, it's like there's no heart in it, so these photographs that are AI generated, they might have all of the bells and whistles, but they're not you. They don't have any soul. And
Well, I
that
think it's kind of also even like in the AI, like I think AI has its place. I'm in marketing, it really does.
100%. Yeah.
But you still have to have your own voice, right? And I
Yeah.
think that one of the things we really need to be careful of, it's kind of like what I think happens a lot that I think is just this thing, but in my industry, is a lot of times when people will go and look at websites or something of people who do the same thing they do, and they'll say, oh, I love the way they said this. And then they want to like use copy from other people because it sounds good. But if it isn't you, it doesn't matter. Then it
Right.
just is verbiage that sounds good. And
Yeah.
it's just like anything else. It's like back in the day going to glamour shots and thinking that when people see you, don't you want people to see you? Like when I just came to California last week, my co-host Teresa, I just met her for the first time. Literally has been my friend, colleague, and client for over 2 years, but I finally met her in person. She was exactly the same. It was like we had met for lunch last week, right?
Right.
It was exactly the same. She said the same thing about me. We looked just like we thought we were going to look. We weren't like, oh, wow, she doesn't look like what I thought, right? She looked just like what I thought she was going to look like. Her voice was the same. Her personality was the same. And that's what you want. And if you're in business, that's exactly what your clients want too. They don't
Absolutely.
want to have me following you and doing all this stuff. And then when they finally hire you, they're like, oh, wow, she isn't anything. Well, because your pictures weren't real, your copy wasn't you didn't use your own voice, right? So the fact of the
No
matter is
trust.
that
Then there's going to be no trust. And that's the, you
totally.
know, yeah.
Oh, I love that. I could talk about that topic all day. That was really good. That was a good one. Okay, so what would you say is one of your favorite? I always like to give everybody opportunity to share. What would you say is one of your favorite, one or two of your favorite business tips? And if you want to tie those to what you do, that's great, or not,
Okay.
whatever you like.
Well, I am very, very, I'm very committed to the foundation and the transformation of women. And so there are some techniques that I use, and there are some, I used to be a school counselor, so I have these practices and these success tips. And one of the things that I feel like is really powerful, I start every day with 3 things. I am grateful for, I release, you know, whatever doesn't serve me, and I will focus on.
Ooh,
So
love.
I start every day with that as a way to really keep myself centered and focused, and also to realize what, like, there's stuff that needs to go away, you know, like that committee that I talked about that sometimes pops into my head. You know, I don't
Totally.
need
I
that.
think we all have that. I really
Yeah.
do. Okay, so I'm going to come up with some little myths of that I hear and have thought myself too, but I kind of know better now. But because I ask a lot of questions, but I think other people do too. So if they were sitting here, they're probably thinking, oh, I wish I could ask her a few questions. So I think these are some of the questions that they would ask.
Okay.
So I'm going to tell you. So here's one of the things, and I am definitely have been guilty of this myself. When you go have photos taken, is it really, will you look thinner if you wear all black?
Well, it depends. Some people think this. The wearing black is kind of neither here nor there. There's lighting and posing and the fit of your clothes. I wear a lot of times a black vest, right? But I would never wear that for a photo shoot because a camera can't see. They don't know, the camera doesn't know that it's a vest, right? So it's going to make me look bigger and puffier. So a lot of times, so you can see in this shirt that I'm wearing, there's space here. Well, you can see that because I'm moving. So what I have in my studio is I have clips to help the clothes be more fitted, look more fitted in a photograph. So not necessarily, black doesn't necessarily make you look thinner.
Oh, that's really interesting to know. I know for me, one of the things that I used to wear black, well, black is my favorite color, but I used to wear black in photos all the time because I thought that.
Yeah.
And literally everybody I know that I've ever had a discussion with has said that same thing too. I think for me, what I've realized, and it's always about each person, right? Like for me, I just realized that it's better for me to be monochrome, right? Just to
And
make
I
sure that,
recommend that too,
yeah,
because then
I
there's
feel
not so
like,
many distractions. Again, our eyes can focus. The thing that we focus on is the face, because that's where we want to connect. So
and
if
also it's like what you said when you're moving, like I realize that I love leopard print. And if I'm going to a networking event, I can wear leopard print because you're seeing me all the way around. But I have noticed in a photo that patterns aren't my friend, are not my
well,
friend.
it's and what happens though is it pulls away from your face if there's
Mhm.
too much activity going on in a print. And
Yeah, I
that's how
think
we
that makes sense.
connect. I mean, that's human connection. That's biology. Our eyes are how we connect. We started as little babies right here, eyes to eyes. You know, that's how we
That
connect.
makes sense.
So
Do you think that is there a specific length that people should wear? Like, is it okay to wear short sleeves in photos or should you wear long sleeves? What about 3/4 sleeves? Like, what are all these things that, like when you think about how we dress normally when you're going to have photos, what are some of the things that you can do to enhance? Like, let's give some
Mhm.
tips.
Absolutely, I'd love to do that. So just to add to that, I have a Zoom meeting, a half-hour Zoom meeting with all of my clients before, and I go through all of the tips and all of the things, and they bring all of their different outfits. So sleeve length, the important thing to remember is any sleeve length is okay. except for cap sleeves. So right, just a little bit off the shoulder, because we do some posing like sideways, and this is the largest, you can't see on my arm because I'm not wearing cap sleeves, but this is the largest part of my arm. And that's the eye is going to be drawn there because there's a different color between the sleeve and the arm, and it's going to look large. And generally women don't like to look larger in their arms. So
That makes sense.
Yeah, so for sleeves, I would say full length sleeves, 3/4 length sleeves, tank tops are great. And I guess this is a little bit of a longer sleeve. So that's one tip. Another tip that is a scroll stopper is to wear something with texture. And I've got this lace on today, lace, velvet, sequins, anything
Really?
like that. And again, a solid color really will stop the scroll.
Oh, now that's good to know. I didn't actually know that.
Mhm.
What about people who wear like glasses? Like, do you help with somebody like so they don't get glare? Do you, because I think there's a lot of those kind of things, right? That
Mhm.
it's so funny because to me, a lot of the things that I do when I'm on the stage as a speaker, I
Mhm.
never want to do in my photos, right? So it's
Mhm.
just kind of fine. So I just really kind of love this when people go ask questions because like I know every time I take photos, I always wear a jacket in my photos.
Mhm.
I always wear a jacket in my photos. And I don't know why I do, but I always do. But mostly because I usually always wear a jacket of some sort in my real life, right?
Well,
So
that makes sense because when you show up, you want to show up authentically and attract, because then people will
mhm.
be like, oh, that's Patty, she wears a jacket. So
Yeah, no, I kind of
glasses,
love that.
yeah, glasses.
I think that makes sense. I like that.
Mhm.
So Julie, what do you love about your business right now?
Everything.
That's
I
a great answer.
Yeah, I love the transformation of women, the clarity when we can see ourselves, elevating women to really, and this sounds like a great big vision. And whenever we hear that if our vision isn't big, and if our vision is too small, then we're not thinking big enough. Well,
Right.
elevating women on the planet, I believe, when the tide rises, all boats rise. Women have so much to offer, and it's been thousands of years that there's been all of this, and I don't need to get into a political
No, but
conversation.
it's you're talking my language right now. That's important to me as well. So I love that.
Yeah, so I just feel like there is so much, to help all of us women boats rise. I mean, I guess boats all have women's names too, right? So
Right.
it's a good analogy.
And that is truly so, but then so do, oh no, I guess hurricanes don't have women's name, they just have names. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but I just
Okay,
feel like
so
women coming into our power, and the whole planet can rise because we have this balance of power. Right now, the planet is out of balance, and bringing not bringing men down, but bringing women up to live in our fullest expression of ourselves and our full power. That's what I love.
that's powerful. And
Thanks.
I know that after they heard that for sure, how can our audience connect with you? What's your website and what social media platform are you the most active on?
So my website is my name, julieulstrop.com. And I'm on Facebook and I'm on LinkedIn. Those are my two big platforms.
That is awesome. Okay, so now it's that time for lightning round questions. So we're going to ask you a few questions. These are like 15-second, just lightning round questions. Okay, so you ready?
Ready?
What's your favorite app on your cell phone?
Oh, I guess Instagram,
Oh, good.
even though I
What's
don't really
your,
use it.
totally get it. What's the one device besides your cell that you can't live without?
Great question. Probably my big screen, my Big Mac.
There you go. What's your favorite way to unwind at the end of the day?
Hang out on my back porch.
Ooh, that sounds nice. Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Night owl.
If you have one, what is your favorite adjective?
Brilliant.
I love that. Mine's phenomenal. That's the word I use. Phenomenal. I think we all have what people are like, oh, wow, I never thought it. We do though. So what's the one thing on your bucket list that you haven't accomplished yet?
Speaking on a stage in front of 1,000 women.
Really? I could probably help make that happen for you.
It's going to happen this year.
That is amazing. That is amazing. I have to tell you, Julie, this has been phenomenal for me. At that right there. I really love it. Thank you for joining me here. Like, man, Teresa's going to watch this and she's going to be like, oh, I should have been on this one. So we might have to have you back. But anyway, thank you so much for being here with me today. This has just been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. It has been a joy for me. I want to change my favorite thing. It's my computer.
Okay.
It's my camera.
Oh, of course, right? Of course. I love that. So thank you so much for joining us on Ask the Expert. We appreciate you sharing your expertise. To the audience, I'm going to encourage you. You really want to go to her website. You want to really check out what she has. I'm going to tell you, you're really in for a treat. I went there and looked at it, super excited about what I found. So I'm going to encourage you to do it. Make sure that you connect with her. I mean, really, don't we want to have someone that we know that's a connection for us that literally could become your friend? And this is what they do. Like, I don't know about you, but I want somebody who can make me look good, right? So thank you so much. Make sure you connect with her. Make sure you connect with Teresa and I. Check out our sponsor, pwnmonterey.org. Just thank you so much for being here with us on Ask the Expert. Feel free to reach out to Teresa and I. If you have any topics you'd like to see, we'll find the expert. Any questions? We love hearing from our listeners. We'd love to connect and continue the conversation. So see you on the next episode of the Ask the Expert Show.